Yo, what is up, everyone? It is the Beast, Brian London. It is the Real Ones Canes podcast, kind of on multiple channels. Hey, do us a favor. If you are not, go find whatever podcast platform you use and look up the Real Ones Canes podcast. Brandon O'Doy and I do a great job of giving you all the info you need. And believe it or not, you may think that others have got all the inside dope, but nope. I mean, they do, but we get some stuff that others don't. So you may want to give us a try. Also, go to your YouTube platform and just type in Real Ones Canes podcast. We are there as well. So, and I'm throwing this on TikTok as well, at my TikTok channel at Miami Radio Beast. Anywho, Miami Hurricanes, USF. Well then, it was supposed to be the first real test for the University of Miami. Ended up not being a test, especially in the second half. USF just wore down, much like they did against Alabama. 50-15, the final score. Here are my thoughts. The University of Miami is good. Those are my thoughts. No. Brandon and I were texting throughout the game, and there is certainly something different about this team. And the two things I've been saying all along are focus and talented depth. And you saw that yesterday. The focus came about when Miami Hurricanes actually found themselves trailing twice. And that didn't seem to really mean anything to them. That adversity was nothing. That was a speed bump they flew right over. And the depth was, the trainers. I've never seen a game where the training staff for both teams was out there as much. It was hot. It was humid. USF was running at pace. And Miami needed to rotate guys, and they did very well. And in the end, especially in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line, it was too much for USF to overcome. Listen, their quarterback is talented, but I think he only had like 25 or 27 rushing yards. That was a concern of mine coming into the game because Miami, even last year, had a problem with like Castellanos up at BC and the rushing yards, but that didn't seem to be an issue yesterday. Miami was on top of it. Now, I will tell you, I was a bit concerned in the first half. Some of Lance Guidry's play calling, or at least the way the team lined up or executed the play calling, it's hard to really know until you go back and look at the film. Not that I will, but to know exactly what the issues were. But, I mean, like not being able to stop a screen pass is just not really in this Miami Hurricanes mature defense DNA. And that was an issue in the first half. But they cleaned it up. In the second half, they figured it out. They were able to sniff out the swing passes. So they did a good job. I still have some concerns on the defensive end. Or the defensive side, I should say. I'm not concerned about the defensive ends. About the secondary, because I think there's still some inexperience there. And even though guys like Darryl Porter and Mish and what have you do have experience, there's still something about the secondary that kind of gives me like okay, we need a little more time, a little more practice, a little more experience to really feel like that back end is up to snuff with the rest of the front, whether it's, 6 or 7, depending on what scheme they're in. So there's that. That's that. But, and offensively, I mean, it's a video game for Cam Ward. It's literally a video game. He's literally playing CFB 25 in person in real life. Like, it's too easy almost. And I keep wanting to say, listen, we got to wait for real competition. And this brings me to my next point. Where's the real competition coming from? Now, listen, this does not mean that everything is going to be a cakewalk, right? There's certainly going to be, there has to be a game or two that's going to be, somewhat of a uphill climb or a close battle or whatever it is. Remember, the best team of all time, the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, needed an absolute literal miracle to beat Boston College that year, right? Remember, BC is driving in. There's a pass. It goes off of Mike Rumpf's knee into the hands of Matt Walters. Ed Reed then steals it and runs in for the touchdown. That's how they won that game. But BC is ready to score with not much time left. And the best team ever could have lost a game. So what does that mean? That means that even the best teams, go up and get up against it every once in a while. So that's going to happen. But if you look at the rest of the schedule, I can clearly tell you this. Unless they lose a game or what have you, they will be favored by Las Vegas in every single game that is left on their schedule. That is without a doubt the case. But you just don't know. Like VT coming in on a weird Friday night game, like you don't know. I mean, I don't think VT is that good, but you just don't know. Going out to Cal. Now, Cal made the trip to Florida State and literally could not find offense. And I think it's because they didn't really comprehend how fast FSU's defense was. Also, on an aside, like I had both games going on. I had like the two multi-screen thing going on, and I would go flip back and forth. And like the announcers in the Florida State Cal game, how many times was I going to have to hear that Mendoza was back home in Florida? Technically true, but do they know that they can fly from Cal to Miami quicker than they can drive from Tallahassee to Miami? Like, technically Tallahassee is in the state of Florida, but let's be honest, it's really like South Alabama, right? Anywho, Miami going out to Cal, the time change, your body needs to adjust. I've been going out to Cal to see my best friend who is a Cal alum. And every time I go out there, even though I gone like 3 times recently, it takes me like 2 days for my body to adjust to the time change, to the time difference. So there's that. You don't know. I mean, I think the only game that I'm really have like some not worry, but anxiety about is the Louisville game, because they look pretty good. They beat what I thought was a good Georgia Tech team. So, and then, going up to Syracuse, that's a weird, bizarre trip of, former Big East, now ACC rivals. So we'll see. But listen, the offense is not something you have to worry about. Like, when they need to run the ball, they'll be able to run the ball. They didn't really need to run it as much yesterday, even though Damian Martinez, what do you have, like 10 carries and scored 3 touchdowns? And then then you got Fletcher, and then you have AJ Allen. Oh, and then here comes the freshman Jordan Lyle, and he's going to go run the longest run in Miami history at 91 yards. So listen, the depth on offense is crazy. The amount of weapons is crazy. Tight ends, receivers, running backs, Cam Ward, offensive line. The offense is not the issue. I don't think the defense will be an issue, but again, I worry about that back end. Here's the bottom line. This team is really good, but I'm not ready to proclaim that Miami is back and we're going to the playoff and, all of the stuff. I'm not ready to make those proclamations yet until we get to 12-0, if that's what's going to happen, because I'm just so programmed to this team is going to drop a game that they should not lose. There's going to be some game against some team like Duke, right? For the Bustelo Cuban Coaches Bowl. They shouldn't lose that game, but who knows? Manny will be all fired up to go against his former team. I don't know. Somewhere along the lines, I'm waiting for the ball to drop, and I hope that it never does, but you never know. All right. That'll do it for me. Listen, good win for the Miami Hurricanes. Good to stay undefeated. Good to remain definitely in the top 10, maybe move up a spot or 2. There's some great teams out there. This playoff is going to be fun. This season's going to be fun. We are a third of the way through the season. Do us a favor. Listen, I'm telling you. If you're seeing this, if you want Canes information you're not getting anywhere else, we bring it to you. Please go subscribe to the Real Ones Canes podcast. Please go subscribe to the Real Ones Canes podcast YouTube channel. Please follow me at Miami Radio Beast on X and follow Brandon at Brandon_O'Doy. For Brandon O'Doy, who is off preaching and doing the Lord's work, I am Brian the Beast London. We'll see you when we see you. Peace!